Alright, y'all, so I'm about to restore the old republic. That's my goal, you know what I mean? I'm making that my life mission to restore the old republic. 1776, all the way, baby. All the way, nigga. Straight up. You know what I mean? My forefathers, you know, on the white side of my family, they fought hard against the British. You know what I mean? Every single one of my family members served in the military, man, except for me and my dad. But everybody else served, you know? So, I just say that, you know, I will fight for the Constitution with my life. You know what I mean? I will die for the Constitution. I will fight and die for the Constitution. You know what I mean? And I mean it. You know, all these unconstitutional laws get passed to violate our rights. You know, every single part of the Constitution is important. There's no right on the Constitution that's not important. They're all there for a reason. Especially our Second Amendment rights. They're there for a reason. To make sure that evil and corrupt government doesn't get too out of hand, that the people have a chance to be able to stop the government from overreach, from, you know, destroying the Constitution, to stop them from being able to destroy your rights. So, you know, anybody who feels the same way about the Constitution, that's ready to fight and die for it, you know, me and you, we're brothers. And if you're a woman and you feel that way, you're my sister. I don't care what race you are. It doesn't matter. What matters is those that have a passion for freedom and are willing to fight and die for their rights and the rights of others. You know, I want everybody to stand up to the government's tyranny. And especially, I want California to stand up to the government tyranny. You know, California, they tried to make it illegal for you to use lethal force to defend yourself in your own home. I mean, that's fucking crazy. Like, why the fuck would you guys think you can get away with that? Yeah, the law didn't pass, but it's the fact they tried it. And guess what? They're going to try to do even more stuff. You know, they try to do so much stuff to erode your self-defense rights, to erode your gun rights. It's unreal. You know, they're not pro-self-defense. They're not pro-gun. They're not pro-Lady Liberty. You know, liberty must be fought for. And sometimes you must give the ultimate sacrifice to make sure that your children and your children's children will have liberty. You know, justice. And the pursuit of happiness for all Americans. You know? And, like, real shit. We must fight for the Constitution. We must fight. And another thing I like to say is, you know, with God on our side, because God doesn't want us to live in bondage. He wants us to be free from sin, free from tyranny. I know he does. So, you know, those who fight for the freedom of others are on the side of God. God doesn't want us to be oppressed. He wants us to be free. Free-spirited. The American spirit is a spirit of freedom. True freedom. There's no way that the government should tell you what guns you're allowed to have. I don't give a damn if you got automatics. It doesn't matter. They have no right to tell you that you can't have that gun. They have no right to tell you that you need to register your gun. They got no right to know about how many guns you have or what guns you have. And you also should need to ask permission from the government to bear arms. A background check is bullshit. They say it prevents criminals from doing things. Majority of the people that do mass shootings pass background checks. And they go commit these acts of evil. A background check doesn't show the heart of a person. It doesn't reveal much about a person. You don't know if that person has ill intentions or not. All you know is from what the background check tells you. The only person that really knows whose intentions, those people's intentions with a firearm or with a weapon is God. Only He knows your true intentions with the weapon. Nobody else. So it doesn't really matter if someone passes a background check. It doesn't prevent them from committing a crime. There are people that have felonies that are more trustworthy than someone that doesn't have anything on their record at all. And that's a fact. So just because someone's a felon doesn't mean they're a bad person. There's people that aren't felons that are horrible people. That I wouldn't trust them with my life. I wouldn't want them inside my home or anything like that. And they could pass a background check. Real shit, man. Y'all need to wake up. The government is lying to you. Gun control is a lie. It's not about guns. It's about control of people. And the only people that are dumb enough to listen, or should I say afraid. People are afraid. Don't fear the government. Fear God. God is more powerful than the government. Way more powerful. Now, I'm not saying all the people in the government are bad, but there's a lot of bad people in the government. And those who are in positions of power that are afraid to use it to protect the Constitution, and they're too afraid of backlash, you know what I mean? Maybe you shouldn't be doing your job. And, you shouldn't rely on the government to liberate the people. The only person that you should rely on to liberate the people is yourself. It starts with you, the individual. You must liberate yourself before you can liberate others. Straight up. So, with that being said, bro, I'm just not going to give up. I'm not going to give up this fight for the Constitution. I'm letting it know publicly that I will defend the Constitution against enemies, foreign and domestic. I will defend it with my life. Now, you can take that how you want to take it. I don't give a fuck. But what I do give a fuck about is the Constitution and the American people. And I want everybody in America to feel like they're safe. I want everybody to feel like they don't have to worry about government overreach. I want everybody in America to feel freedom. And, it's the home of the brave, because we can only have this freedom if we're brave. If you're a coward, you have no place in America. Straight up. This country wasn't built on cowards. It was built on people that had courage. This country started from people that had the courage to fight against the British, to make their own nation. It says in Fallout New Vegas at the end, if you pick the No Gods, No Masters end on the story mode, the general, I think, of the Northern California faction, or no, not Northern California faction, the New California Republic, the NCR, New California Republic, the general's like, do you have the balls to build and forge nations? Do you have the balls for that? And we, the American people, we certainly did have the balls. We said, the British are not going to be our masters. We're not going to pay taxes to you. We're not going to allow you to tell us we can't have guns. We are going to be free. So, with that mindset of the people that liberated us in 1776, you need to have that same mindset now. It doesn't matter that they had muskets and now we have AR-15s. The AR-15 is the modern musket. And the government, they fear the AR-15. They fear it. There's nothing to be afraid of. But they fear it because it's what the people have. It's one of the most important tools the people have to maintain freedom in this country. And freedom is rented, it is maintained, it is not owned. Nobody owns freedom. You must maintain it. And the way to maintain it is deterrence. You must deter those who want to take freedom. You must make sure that those who don't want us to be free are afraid of the people. That the people will say, no, we're not going to stand for this. So, my fellow patriots, I need you guys to support each other. Real talk. And you guys need to be about what you guys talk about. You guys need to prove how patriotic you are. You know what I mean? It's a sacrifice to be a true patriot. It's a sacrifice. It really is a true sacrifice because, a lot of things can happen to a patriot. Patriots, a lot of times they get killed, man. And that's just being real with you. But, you got to be willing to make that sacrifice. And a lot of people make excuses why they can't be a full-on activist, a full-on patriot to fight for our freedoms. You know what I mean? Those people, if they would have used things like, oh, well, I have a family, I have stuff to lose, I can't lose them. You know what? In my opinion, that's an excuse. Just admit it. You're scared. You're afraid. Because you can lose your family without being an activist. You can lose your family in a car accident. You can lose your family from a number of things. Health issues. Your whole family can get cancer. Your whole family can get the flu and die. You know what I mean? AKA COVID, when they were releasing viruses onto the people, man-made viruses being released onto the people, which, they are going to do it again, and it will be more deadly the next time. This is not a one-time thing. COVID, you should all know this and also be prepared for it. They will do something like this again, and best believe it's going to be killing people a lot more than COVID did. COVID was a joke. But, yeah. Just real talk, This patriot stuff, it runs deep in my blood. You know what I mean? I was born for it. I was bred for it. You know what I mean? The highest honor that I could have is to die for the Constitution. That's the highest honor that I could have. I don't think it gets any better than that. But, me personally, I don't want to die. You know what I mean? I have hopes and dreams, I want to be able to spend time with my family. I would prefer to die at old age. But if that doesn't happen, I'm not going to stray away from my path out of fear. I'm going to continue on regardless of anything else because I got faith in God. And I feel like this is my calling to be able to liberate the people and free us from tyranny. Because tyranny is evil. It's wrong. And we must resist it. I have been going on for a while talking right now. I really have. But I really do hope you guys get the point. I really do. Because that's all I'm trying to do is send a message. And also, I'm doing more than sending a message. I mean, I actively, am making sure that our rights are protected. So, I'm just telling people, you protect your rights. You know what I mean? If you see government corruption, speak out against it. Make sure that you find justice against those who abuse their power. Make sure that they are held accountable for their actions for abusing power. Make sure that they get fired and put out of office. You know what? You make sure that that happens. Also, vote. Please vote. Try all the means necessary to protect the Constitution. Everything in your power, use it to protect the Constitution. Exercise all your rights. Exercise all of them. Every single right in the Constitution, learn about it and exercise it. All the amendments, every amendment. And most importantly, exercise your Second Amendment. Because without that amendment, all the other amendments won't even be possible. So, please, exercise your Second Amendment rights. Alright, y'all. This Willie signing out. Y'all have a good one. Stay blessed.